how today goes. So a couple things. We have 2 weeks left. So I think it's the 29th, Thursday, is a normal Thursday. That's our last class. Cool. Don't hold me to it. I think your Friday is redefined. I'm not sure. It's this stupidest, weirdest things ever, these redefined days, but it's beyond my control. So we're almost done, which is good and fun. Everybody got their resume in and all that good stuff. If you had any issues, just make sure you get it in. I know some people had internet issues and stuff like that in one of the dorms or something like that. So here's what today is. Today is supposed to be some seniors talking to you. I only had one section of seniors that I could pull from, and nobody could make this time period. So my 8 a.m. sophomore class had 3 seniors. Now, however, I have done this multiple years, and I do it for a couple reasons. I actually have the students, when you're seniors, if you're in my class, I ask you, what are things you wish that younger you knew? So as a senior, look back and reflect. And some of them, it's like, one that cracked me up. He was like, fish wide list, for God's sake, set up Google Calendar, or whatever. Like just learning how to be a college student and all that good stuff, okay? But a lot of times they have really good advice for you guys both in the Corps and things to do outside of the Corps. I don't have anybody here today, so it's me. So here's our social experiment. I need you to not to look at me differently today, okay? So literally, I'm going to talk to you about the Corps or your college experience or whatever, and it's open to questions. Some of the things that the 3 seniors I had today kind of hit on that I thought was really great was some things about dealing with discipline and stuff like that, underage drinking, dealing with white belt apathy, all that good stuff, okay, and doing things on and off the Corps. And this is also something I had no idea that this is the breakdown of staff. Most of staff are bags who don't want a PT, or they don't really get along with their buddy class, okay? And then about 5 to 10% actually want to make a difference. I had no idea that was the case, which is hilarious to me, okay? So then you look at white belt apathy. Okay, because that comes up all the time for you guys as underclassmen being rising juniors and where you're coming into it and dealing with the Corps and all that good stuff. One of the points one of the seniors made today was find the thing you like, okay? And he's like, I'm not a staff. I got all kind of free time, right? He's been here 4 years. He's burned out and he's done. He's got a job lined up. He's ready to move on. He goes, but he loves seeing the underclassmen that he trained training. He loves seeing the, fish become heads and see them leading. And then, as a junior, seeing these fish that he thought were horrible, see them come along and all that stuff. And he's like, that is literally the only thing that keeps me going in the Corps. I love teaching, and when I see other younger people become better and they start training and all that good stuff to do that. So that one I thought was good. One of the other things they brought up of where you guys are going to be next year is drinking. A lot of you are turning 21 next year, correct? Some of you already are. Okay, so if you're at the chicken and they get a pitcher and there's cups, are you going to drink? Some of you will, okay? Some of you won't. And if you don't, are you going to report your buddies? No? No? Anybody going to be a first sergeant? If you're at the chicken and they're drinking, are you going to report your buddies? Okay, yeah.
It's my obligation to do so.
Okay, let's say you guys don't go because you don't want to be in that situation, but you knew they drink. You knew they drank. Are you going to report them then? Yeah, so are you going to do it or not? I will encourage them to self-report. Okay. Big thing in the Corps is self-reporting, right? We have a lot of self-reporters. That's exactly what the senior did. Did they all self-report because they felt they should self-report? No. Somebody told them, you need to self-report. Okay. There are people that self-report, but a lot of them is, you need to go self-report. Okay. And trust me, we actually get into all of this in 482 as seniors. It's right versus right ethics. It's really, really fun. Tends to be most cadets' favorite SOMS class because this is right versus wrong is easy, honestly. Right versus right is really, really hard, and we get into a lot of that stuff. So that's exactly what you guys are going to be dealing with stuff next year, okay? So you need to know how you're going to handle that. Either you're going to remove yourself from the situation or you're still going to do it or not. I had a senior a couple years ago, gung-ho kid, right? Loved PT, loved the Corps, was just ate up all the time to be a great cadet. It was Christmas break his senior year, and he smoked some weed over Christmas break and got anonymously ratted out. Somebody slipped a letter under his CTO's door and said, "Cadet so-and-so smoked weed over Christmas break." He feels because he didn't have the chance to self-report, he got kicked out of the Corps. That's what he thinks. Okay? I don't know if that's the reason or not. But two of the other seniors as fish had underage drinking charges. They went off campus. It wasn't Northgate, whatever. They said they didn't even party that much, but they drank. They were underage. And so they got in trouble for it. So just some things to consider, right, for where you guys are going to be next year and how you're going to deal with it and whatever the consequences are going to be. So with that, the other thing they highly encourage too for you guys in particular, and maybe you're already doing this, get involved off the quad, especially the next couple years. You guys are going to get burned out. It's some of you are there, I get it, okay, and you're still going to go through and stick it out for 4 years, and that's awesome. You're going to get burned out on the Corps in some facet or another if you're not there already. Have an outlet, right? Make friends with non-regs. Find a student group. Try a sport you don't even like. One of them said his girlfriend made him sign up for a country swing dance class. He loves it. He's like, I'm not a good dancer. It's super fun. I get to turn my brain off for an hour. We have a good time, okay? And he's like, now my girlfriend's really happy about it, right? So just get involved with stuff like that. Just because you're in khaki doesn't mean you can't meet non-regs and make friends, all right? Again, these are all their words, not mine. I don't know the world you live in as well as they do, okay, as well as you guys. But things they said, same thing, student organizations. Something looks fun, something looks interesting, try it. Go do it, okay? But it's really good to have an outlet, especially over the next couple of years, right? Just you can get away from the Corps for the weekend or whatever. And they, buddy dinners are great, but do some other things too, okay? Find other things. So, what questions do you guys have? We're gonna answer or try to answer. Because juniors run the Corps, absolutely and without question. Seniors, most of them won't even look at your training plans, will they? They won't. CTOs won't even look at them sometimes. So, can you bend the rules? Sure. Sometimes you can, right? They were talking about that, okay? What you can and can't do, all right? What questions do you guys have? What can I tell you? Yes, sir.
So to turn the question that you asked me, Halen, back on you, if you were in that position, what would you do? If you knew some of your buddies, maybe they're not 21 just yet, but they go to a party or something like that, or maybe Northgate, what would you do?
So if they underage drink? I'm going to confront them first. And I'm going to do exactly what we said. I'm going to give them the opportunity to self-report. If they tell me they're not, I'm likely going to report them. Right? It's all in your own ethics and morals. Okay? And this is why we work on this stuff in class. If you don't know what they are, you don't know what you're going to do, and you're going to find yourself in that situation. It's like we did. Who wants to have kids? Okay, good. You should all call and apologize to your parents right now for the things that you did. And most of you are good kids, okay? It's really hard to be a parent. And if you're inconsistent, that's where you're looking for weakness. If you make an exception for one buddy, you have to do it for all of them. So if your one buddy has some beers and you let the one buddy get away with it, and the next weekend 12 of them do it, guess what? They're going to know that. So you have to decide how you're going to handle it. And really it matters to you more than anything else, especially when they're your buddies. I'm a firm believer in teamwork. I like people a lot. It has burned me multiple times. So really you have to do what's right for you. What else? Anything, college or not.
It's not a subjective question, like morally, because if I was in that situation, I'd be like, hey, like don't do that. You could get into some serious trouble like outside the court,
Mm-hmm.
like with bigger problems.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's how you want to handle it. Yeah, I mean, look, I may or may not have had issues as an undergrad in college. Off the record, as I film this. Okay. So yeah, you have to deal with the consequences, and some of them are a lot worse than others. And some, I mean, you get a DUI and somebody gets hurt, your life is dramatically changed. Okay, so having a couple beers because you're 20 years old at the Chicken and walking home can be fairly harmless, right? It just depends how you want to deal with it. What else?
I'd rather live with knowing that some of my buddies drank chicken. I'd rather live with that on my conscience than have to live with knowing I got a couple of my buddies kicked out of the court for reporting me. That weighs way heavier on me than just knowing they did it.
Did you get them kicked out of the Corps?
No, but I don't
They
want my
chose.
conscience.
They chose to do something that they knew could get them kicked out of the Corps. Correct?
Correct.
It's up to you, man. Really, it's up to you. Yeah. But if I know that you know and you didn't tell it, then I might come to you and be like, why didn't you report your buddies? And then I might decide I don't want you in the Corps. I doubt that would happen, but there are ramifications for if you know something and don't report it, right? I don't know what they are. Samir.
With that kid who smoked weed over break, did they drug test him when he came back, and that's why I got kicked out, or they just took some before?
No, I don't know all the details, and again, I only got his side of the story. But I believe they did an investigation. I think they confronted him and he admitted to it.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, I don't think it was an actual drug test. So, yeah, still finished his SOMS leadership certificate. He took 482 as a non-reg. Okay, he's a good guy. Really like him. He works at College Station now. Thank you.
I have a question about networking.
Yeah.
Not coming across as like fake. Like how do you network and see each other?
Do you mean in terms of like here on campus or
Just
what?
in general, like
Yeah.
in terms of like
How do I use people to get to what I want? It's kind of what we do, right? Sometimes, right? Okay, if you have a guest speaker in class or something like that, and you'll get more of them. I used to think it didn't happen a lot because I really like hearing from people from industry, right? Like the job I want to do, tell me what it's like, okay? I used to bring in more guest speakers. I bring in fewer now until we get a little closer to graduation and stuff. But you guys will start getting more of them the further along you get in your career. Go meet them. Go up, introduce yourself. If they're ags, they're going to like you. If they're cadets, they're going to love you, right? And so go introduce yourself, meet them, follow up with an email, get their business card, all that good stuff. Don't be afraid to network on campus. And if you see a non-reg in class who's clearly, great at whatever your majors are, don't be afraid to meet them, make friends, man, study with them, whatever. That was actually one of the things the seniors mentioned was up and meet seniors. Right? Meet freshmen in your class. Like it doesn't matter. You're a year or two apart in most cases, right? So don't let that set boundaries for meeting people and having cool experiences with them and stuff. One of them, Richard Drake, I don't know if he's in any of your guys' outfits. You know Drake? Yeah, so he's one of the ones that spoke. He's like, the first day of class, my very first class here at A&M, I introduced myself to the non-reg sitting next to me, and we've been friends ever since. He's like, and he was actually a year older than me, and we still keep in touch. He's like, and that's just a cool experience to have. So don't think just because you're wearing khaki that, you can't make friends with non-regs and stuff. And this is kind of foreign to me, right? Because I make friends with everybody. It doesn't bother me. But some of you guys think, core only and screw all those non-regs. And they think you all are all weird. You know that, right? They all think that. So tear that barrier down, man. They think you're all going to the military, even Aggie's here. Okay, and they think you're all strange, and you all fall asleep in class, which that one's true. What else?
I think most of us want to make connections with people in class, but we just got cut short 2.5 semesters where we
Yeah, the last year's no joke, and so next year, man, capitalize on that, right? Eh, what's that?
Just go hard in the paint.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, look, hopefully we're not wearing friggin' masks, right? Like, hopefully you can see faces and all that stuff. So, capitalize on that, being able to interact and all that stuff. Look, I think I've mentioned, how fast has the last 2 years gone? You got 2 left that are going to go equally as fast, if not faster. Some of you have more than 2. It's okay. One more football season?
Yes.
Happens every time. Okay. What else? What else can I tell you? How can I help you guys? What are we worried about next year?
What's the best advice you have for time management?
Time management. Stop being a piece of shit.
Thank you.
I mean, look, it's on you, right? It's 100% on you. And 381, I think you'll love. Again, not just because we look at our own willpower, like things we won't do. For example, I had a cadet who every time he walked in his room, if he had his coat on, he would put it on his chair. And he hated that he did that. And he's like, pretty soon I have like 4 coats on my chair, and it's stupid. So we literally were working on willpower stuff and like working on our habits a little bit, and why we do it, and trying to change things we want to change about ourselves. And he's like, I would not even know I was doing it. I had the goal not to put my jacket there, and later I would sit down, turn around, and be like, shit, you know? But he worked on it, and so now he's really good at it. He's like, now I hang my jacket up every time, and I've built on that. So, look, you're not going to like this. You're not that busy. You are, okay, but how many hours of class do you really have a day? 3, 4? Tops?
Like lecture?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, not that many, to be honest. Okay, fair enough. You're using brain power. I get it. It's hard. That's a few hours out of 24. You got a PT. You got to eat. There's a lot of time in there. There's a lot of time in there. Look, go have fun. College students, in a lot of studies, you guys are totally in that sweet spot of I absolutely need an outlet. That Dr. Payne didn't go say party 10 hours a day. Okay, but you got to cut loose sometimes. So don't wear yourself out. But it's all on you guys, and you can do it. Honest to God, I don't care what your major is. Honest to God, you can get 4 points. Don't have to. Choose not to. That's okay, right? But if you work hard enough, you could. Just whether that's what you want to do or not. Make sense? It falls squarely on your shoulders. And we like having our freedom, right? We're in college and we're out of the house. It's also squarely on you to make those decisions. Okay? So if you want to screw off and not go to class or whatever, then do that. But you're probably going to suffer. So keep your long-term goals in mind. What else?
Any tips for like time management next semester? We're going to sitting in our room all day, have to go back to like class fully in person, and like as fish, we were like just getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
Like, and then we got sent home. So all that's probably gonna be out the window.
Yeah.
We're just figuring out how to perfectly time everything.
Who?
I just wake up 3 minutes before class.
Is anybody thinking about contracting? Not very many here, right? Oh, a few of you. Okay, cool. Okay. So jump back in. I mean, who joined the Corps like for the reasons they needed discipline? Most of you do, like in some fashion or another. You were worried about partying out of school or drinking or whatever. Most of you joined the Corps for some variation of needing the discipline and the structure. So use that to your advantage, is what I would tell you. And man, get it and go. Who likes sitting around in their room all the time? I wouldn't. So introverted? No? Okay. Some of you don't like people, and that's fine. You don't want to be out. That's fine. Okay? That's not a terrible thing. We can work with that. But man, if it drives you crazy, get up, get out, and take advantage. Life's too short, man. Go have fun. Sit in class, meet people. Even if you're just cruising for chicks, no. Not in your major. Huh?
There's about 8 right?
I met this old ag one time. He was here when they let women into A&M. There were no women before. He's like, there were 4, and we knew all of their names and all of their majors and where they were from. He's like, we knew every single one of them. It was hilarious. Right? And he told me, he's like, look, it was not good here. Like, it was the good old boys club, and there were a lot of faculty that retired. Okay? Just being old, misogynistic, sexist, whatever. Like, they would sit, it's Noska, right? Is that how you say it? Noska. Okay? If you had an older brother or something that went here, they would come up to you and they'd be like, Noska, are you from, Abilene? You'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, oh, I had your brother. I hope you're not as dumb as he is. Like, that's what it was like. And so, not necessarily the best of environments. So, yeah, believe it or not, things are much better. So, yeah. What else? What else can I tell you guys? What else can I help you with? Yes, sir.
What are some skills that non-cadets do better than cadets?
Stay awake. No, I'm just picking on you. That's a good question. Of the non-regs I've had in SOMS, they come from engineering, so they tend to be good. They tend to be pretty darn good students. Some of them are fit as hell. I got one kid. He was an Eagle Scout. I mean, he probably would have made a great cadet. It's just not what he wanted to do. I'm trying to remember, we talked about this. There's 70,000 people here, right? Yeah, we did the math, right? So there's some really good non-regs on this campus. Don't think because you wear khaki and PT that you're better than them, right? But a lot of them you are. It's okay.
Do they make better grades than we do?
Statistically,
No.
the core is better than the general student body. At least it was, I think, last time I heard, like a year ago.
As of like December, like the end of this, in the fall, we were up by like 0.23% or 0.23 of it.
Yeah, a little bit better. Now, keep in mind, there's far fewer of you. So if I took a sample of 2,500 students, that's probably a better comparison. But as you know, there's 65,000 other freaking students here. So, but yeah, you guys do a little better. Well, again, you get rewarded if you hang in there for a while. My seniors, my parents were actually here visiting, and I brought them to my senior section, and they got to ask questions about me, right? But one of the things that my parents took away was how thoughtful you guys actually are. Like, everything is about how terrible the next generation is, right? Which has been since the beginning of time. I tell people that we're in good hands. I teach you guys, and I teach ag at Sam Houston, and I think you guys are great, right? I honestly brag about the future as being in good hands because we've got people like you guys, right? No joke. You're not all pieces of shit, okay? Despite what your CTO said, all right? Tell him that. Dr. Payne said I'm cool. What else? What else can I help you guys with?
What advice do you have about like forging your own path with a career that you want that other people might not think is a good idea?
Oh, great question. So, did everybody hear, Alex? Yeah. This is a weird phenomenon. Do you guys know Dr. Brown yet? Has anybody had Dr. Brown in the Hollingsworth Center? Okay. He's phenomenal. He's a veterinarian by trade, but has been teaching here for a long time. And he has told me, when you guys start getting job offers, as juniors and seniors or whatever, or 5th years, whatever, when you guys start getting job offers, you will ask your buddies versus people who've been in the real world, right? And he just thinks that's very strange, right? It's like, oh, what do you think I should do? They don't freaking know, nor do they probably have your best interest in mind. Absolutely do what you think is best for you. You gotta, don't be afraid to forge your own path. In the same vein as you guys are getting leadership opportunities stuff, don't be afraid to change outfits. Some of you are really hesitant to that. One of the seniors this morning said, I did, and it actually was great. That's an awesome opportunity when you start applying for jobs, right? Be like, are you willing to move around? Are you willing to leave Texas? You're like, actually, I got to do this when I was in the Corps, and I changed outfits and went and met all these new people, and it worked out great. Or it didn't work out great, and here's why. Okay, fair enough. You absolutely should look out for number one. Do what is best for you. I can tell you from my experience when I was younger, and I've heard cadets say the same thing, don't sacrifice your own stuff for the boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay? I would tell you to absolutely be cautious of that. Okay, don't give up maybe a term abroad or whatever. If there's something you really want to do and you're like, well, you know, they might break up with me. Oh, okay, then oh well. See you later. Going to Spain. Deuces. Right? Okay. Plenty of beautiful women in Spain. Be fine. Or men, whatever. So yeah, do your own thing. Do your own thing, but just kick ass at it. Just kick ass. Do what you're good at. What else? Good question.
So, like, feedback on hers, like, to what extent should we listen to our buddies or our parents, like, if we get a job offer? Because I've been told by my parents that I don't know everything.
Yeah, you give it about 2 or 3 years, and you'll come around to realize your parents are not idiots, because you kind of have been treating them that way, whether you really knew it or not, because you're trying to move into the real world and get all your freedoms, and you guys have it all. I was no different. Okay. Then you get out in the real world and you're like, well, this kind of sucks. Maybe my parents weren't idiots. So put more stock in what your parents say than your buddies. They know you better, I hope. It's not that you can't turn to buddies for advice, but they've been around the sun a few more times. So, yeah, good question. What else?
How do you handle conflicts when it's like, because we're starting at leadership positions,
Uh-huh.
you have a buddy that you're best friends with who is now technically like your subordinate.
Yep.
How do you handle conflicts with those people?
Oh man, that's a fun one. Be consistent. Be consistent. Sometimes it's gonna suck, but it doesn't mean you can't tell them that. All right? You can't. It's not like you can't go up to your buddy and be like, "Dude, this is gonna be a shitty conversation, but you screwed up, and I'm gonna hold you accountable." Don't be afraid to do that. And again, it's almost like what Alex is saying, or maybe I was interpreting, with relationships. Okay. Like Noah said, if your buddies went and drank, and you know that you report them, it's going to get in trouble, and that's going to bother Noah, fair enough. But if the staff finds out, right, or the CTOs find out, they're going to come after Noah. So he's got to figure that out. So if it kind of comes down to how you want to deal with it and who you are, right? If you want to pull your buddy aside, be like, look, dude, you really screwed up. I'm going to cover you this time. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But just realize there's going to be consequences. Could be consequences with that. Because then the next time a guy you don't like does the exact same thing, he's going to say, well, you didn't do it to your buddy. Right? So be consistent. It's probably the main message. Same thing with parenting. Kids are like raptors looking for weakness in the fence. You guys are the same way with like assignments and stuff. You're always just testing us for weakness. Right? Trying to see where you can get through. So yeah, just be consistent. Yes, sometimes it's going to suck. And again, if they're your buddy, if they're really your friend, they'll understand. Be like, yeah, it's on me. I chose to do the wrong thing. I put you in this position. Most people don't think that way, but that's what happened. So yeah, be consistent. Good question. What else? Yes, sir.
Do you have like a tip about money-wise?
Money. Save it. Get out of debt as soon as you can. Save your money. You will be ahead of everybody. Yeah, and start. One thing really I got into late was just learning how to invest. Start paying attention. Do a little homework. It does not take thousands of dollars to invest. It takes a few bucks. But just learn how you want to do it. The more you can save, the better off you are. And again, can't remember if I've discussed it in this class, but I get into it in the other SOMS classes. If you got money that you can save and you can quit your job, man, you're in a great spot in life. But yeah, just get out of debt as soon as you can. Most people have it. It's not the end of the world, but just don't let it, build. Don't buy shit you don't need. It's pretty awesome, actually, to like have everything you own fit in your car or truck and be able to pick up and go. Like, oh, I got a job in Denver. I'm out here. Go do it, man. Be awesome. What else? Yes, sir.
So what if you have like a buddy who's gonna get like leadership, who's in line for leadership position next year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like letting the power a little bit get to them, like
Yes.
kinda like treat you not like very different, but you can tell like
Super common.
yeah, certain things are just kind of getting
How to deal with it?
yeah, deal with it.
Keep your buddy in check.
Yeah.
Do it the right way, though. One of the other things the seniors mentioned this morning, as juniors, as upperclassmen, do not bitch in public. Don't complain look, remember last year's Fish, and you hear, well, hopefully, or it's probably earlier in the year, you would hear him saying shit in the halls you're not supposed to hear? Fish hear everything, okay? So it can impact your outfit. right? So if you're always complaining, just be careful of that. Yeah, some of you are gonna see your buddies get leadership positions. You're like, what's up with this asshole, right? Like, what happened to you? Okay, to your first sergeants. Right? Just kidding. Tanner's like, what? Man, don't be afraid to pull them aside, but do it the right way. You know, don't call them out in front of everybody if they're trying to train or something like that. Just pull them aside and be like, dude, you're being kind of a prick, right? Somebody asked a great question. Should your outfit be professional or family oriented? All of them said family. If it's professional all the time, dude, you're gonna kill morale. You're together all the time. You're in the same. You eat together. You sleep near each other, right? They're always around. Okay, you gotta care about people, right? And even if you got differences, you still gotta figure it out. So, yeah, I think don't be afraid to keep your buddies in check. Yeah, but some of them might, they might have a reason too. Be like, hey man, why are you so hard on them, or why are we doing this? They may have a reason. So again, if you call them out, just do it the right way. Don't be hollering out in front of the outfit. Hey man, you're being a dick. Nah, it's not cool. Yeah, good question. What else?
So in our outfit, me, Ross, and Josh are the PSVs. And,
What is that?
platoon
Platoon
sergeant.
Okay.
So we made pretty much like, we shook on it that between us three and the first sergeant, behind closed doors, we're gonna figure out whatever it is.
Yep.
Like, no one's really gonna be outranking the other one,
Mhm.
except on paper. So like, we kinda made like a pact that, yeah, you might have a higher rank than us, but we're still gonna like work side by side.
Yeah.
To like solve all the problems and everything.
Yeah. Again,
We're gonna hold them accountable, he's gonna hold us accountable, so.
yeah, that's a good plan. Look, I talked about it here, I'm sure, and I do it throughout all the songs. Rank and title don't mean shit. If anybody in the court gives you an order, you have to follow it.
No.
There's zero legal ramification. You don't have to do anything. I've got a lieutenant colonel who was in the Corps coming to talk to my seniors on Tuesday, and he told me the whole story. He's like, I had 150 cadets under me. He goes, not one of them had to follow an order I gave. Now, probably not going to go that well if you don't, right? Okay. But in the military, we have to follow orders unless, there's a serious ethical problem or whatever. So, yeah, it's pretty entertaining to know that. But title and rank don't matter. I can walk up to that same lieutenant colonel and be like, dude, that was a horrible presentation. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to, hey, sir, that sucked. That's not going to go well for me. Okay, but I might pull him aside and be like, hey, Colonel, you might want to work on this, or that really didn't make sense, or you really lost us. So there's nothing wrong. And there's no reason, I'm enlisted, there's no reason I can't lead either. Right? So title and rank really don't mean shit anywhere in life. Okay, civilian and military. Right? You can still be a peon new employee and go kick ass. Right? Good question. What else? Most Noah's spoken all semester. What else? What are we worried about next year? Anything else?
I mean, to the topic of title and rank doesn't mean shit. So, if you have to give out an order of some sort, right, especially as first sergeant, sergeant major, whatever.
Yeah.
And you have people who have that exact mindset of, oh, well, the rank doesn't mean shit, but something has to get done.
Yeah.
How do you handle that as a person with the rank?
Yeah. So again, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So don't be the guy that you think wouldn't follow that order yourself. Does that make sense? So and you'll see it, you've probably seen it in the Corps. You've had upperclassmen tell you to do something. You're like, they would never do that. Or I don't want to do that because they're an asshole, right? It matters how you give the order. It matters how you try to get things done, right? So most of that has to do with how you carry yourself. Are you sincere? Are you believable? Have I seen the example? All that good stuff. And then, of course, you can choose discipline. If you're like, hey, man, we really need this done. You let me down. Then you got to choose discipline. Okay? It doesn't happen a whole lot after fish year, but you'll still have bags in the Corps who just don't like doing things. So figure it out. Look, it's a game, right? All of this is a game for you guys, and you're learning how to play the game. Last year you didn't know how to play, right? And then you were learning how to play, and then we ripped the rug out from you in the spring. But it's all just a game that you're trying to figure out. So workforce, same thing. It's all just a game. I went to basic training. You don't get smarter, you just suck less. You just learn what the TI wants you to do and then do it. Okay. Good question. What else? College Station? You good? You awake? Anything? Nathan, killing it today, my man.
I'm just thinking of stuff, guys, trying to kill this dead space.
I don't mind Dead Space. It's really fun for me to watch. Because you guys are like doing this. Doesn't bother me. We'll finish early, don't worry. What do you got?
What is something that the Corps doesn't prepare us for?
Oh, great question. Man. Man, let me think about that. One of the seniors kind of addressed that this morning. He didn't grow up here. He's a military brat. He's lived all over. No one knows what the Corps is. No one. Okay? Once you leave A&M, people in Texas don't even know. People outside of Texas, no freaking clue. All right? And they had a couple great points. I told them, I was like, I didn't pay them to say this. You need to have a couple of sentences that make the Corps sound awesome. Seriously. Because one of them, he's contracting, right? He's NUPOC, nuclear power, right? He's a stud, right? He's a really good kid. And he's going to power submarines, nuclear submarines, right? And he's like, nobody outside knows what it is, all right? So, he was having an interview, and they were like, Corps cadets, was that like the Boy Scouts? Right? That's going to happen to you. So, as much as you guys love to complain, you better have a couple sentences about how awesome it is. Again, this is working on our interviews, resumes, and all that stuff. Be like, actually, it was a student-led organization based on military style. I got to do X, Y, and Z. They're really cool. I got to lead cadets. I got to be a first sergeant, whatever it is. Have a brief summary of how awesome the Corps is and how you can use that, okay? Because people aren't going to know. Like, same thing. Well, you guys are a little screwed, but have you been to road games, football game, even as a fish? Did they thank you for your service?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yes, you're welcome. Right? So they don't know. So be able to tell them. Be able to tell them what you do, what was awesome about it. It's going to come up. Grad school. It's going to come up. Is anybody thinking about grad school? Well, medical school, dental school? What are you thinking about?
Medical school.
Huh?
Medical school.
Medical school, that's right. Bill? Engineering, okay.
PT school.
PT, that's right, okay. Be able to tell them, man, I PT'd all the time. I had to train people, okay? I had to set up, training plans for physical fitness or whatever like that. Be able to use that to your advantage, okay? I just wrote, don't everybody ask, if you ask me to write a letter of recommendation, here's what happens, okay? You write it, and then I edit it. Madison Beal is a junior who's applying for medical school, and I wrote her a letter of recommendation, and she was a first sergeant. And I wrote in there, I edited what she wrote. I was like, a first sergeant's job is to care about people, right? Which is important to a medical school to know. So, yeah. So take advantage of be able to tell what the Corps is, right? Rather succinctly, because people won't know. Okay. What else? We'll do one more and I'll let you go.
Is the military as good of a...
Maybe we'll do two.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is the military as good of a career path as maybe some people lead you to believe? Because I know a lot of people who are contracts and they know exactly what they want, and then you're a DNC and you're just like...
Oh, well, that's a difference of where you think you're going in life. Here's the scariest part, the most fragile cadet is the one who lost their contract because they think their life is over, right? I wanted to be a Marine, or I wanted to be an Air Force pilot or whatever, and then health, you get disqualified for some weird random thing they didn't even know they had, and that's awful, okay? Your life is not over. And some of it, too, I'll be honest, is I'm going here for X amount of time because it's a job. I'm going to be in my 20s, which are going to be a blur no matter what you do. They're going to go by fast, and you're not really going to know. They're doing that because they're like, well, I'm going to contract for 4 years, and then I'll figure it out. So I'll have a job and I'll be doing okay, and maybe I'll do grad school or whatever. If you still don't know what you want to do, don't panic. You are not alone. Okay. The military is good for going for structure and job and all that good stuff. You might do your 4 years and get out. You can go to medical school and have them pay for it, and then go be a physician for the Navy for several years, and then be a doctor debt-free. So there are things like that that are benefits. The military has a lot of benefits. You can do it part-time, right, which is what I do. So there's a lot of benefits in doing that too, because you can have your civilian career and still serve if you want and make a little extra money. And I will have 2 retirements, which is pretty outstanding. So they're just different. One's not better than the other. Sometimes you get to blow shit up, but Karen, do you have a question? That'll be our last one. Oh, your major's getting harder. That's interesting. Hopefully, because as you progress in your major, it should get a little easier because you like it. It should get more of the things that you want to do. That doesn't always happen. If you're trying to balance it out, this, again, I'm not, Dr. Payne didn't say punch. I have had seniors, spring of senior year, leave the Corps. Which is, I was paranoid. It was a Pet E student who was a great student. I was like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I have a job lined up. I'm out. He's like, I don't have time to go to a volleyball game on Tuesday night. Okay, and he worked. He was putting himself through school and everything, so it was hard. It's just the balance of what you want to do. Again, find what's keeping you going in the Corps, and stay motivated on what's keeping you going in school. You got to find what motivates you. But if it's getting harder, just decide that balance. I would tell you, based on what I know, keep your chain of command informed. You know, like, look, school is really important to me. I'm trying to go to dental school. I'm not going to the Tuesday volleyball game, right? So I think you can work things in your favor, especially as you become upperclassmen. Yes, sir. I said I'm going to let you leave early, and now everyone's got questions.
I know you said final question, but does the petty student still have a job? Do you know?
I do not know. It was a couple years ago. Oh, you're talking because of industry? I almost guarantee he does. He was, honestly, he was an awesome kid. Awesome kid. Somebody I would want working for me. I would not have let him go. You might have, my neighbor works in oil and gas. He took a pay cut, but he's still good, so. Yeah, as far as I know. Anything else? Just hungry? Go be awesome. Have a wonderful week. Good job. I hope that was useful.